Guys, do you want to learn how to get professional results on your home processed food? Lamb chops, lamb burger. Stick around and I'm going to show you how to get professional quality results on your home processed foods using equipment that I'm using in this video. We're using VacMaster chamber sealer, and we're also using VacMaster branded butchering knives. Stick around and we'll show you how to get all that. All right, guys, it's the week after our festival that we had in Bowling Green. We did a sheep processing. We didn't allocate enough time, no fault to Darren and Chris. We just didn't allocate enough time. They got kind of one half of it done. So I've got some more lamb to process that we're gonna put in the freezer. I'm gonna show you, we're gonna vacuum chamber it, use a chamber sealer, that kind of stuff. But what I've got right now, this is essentially one half of the lamb. It's had the rear leg taken off, and it's had the front leg taken off. So right in here is where you're gonna get your chops, and then here are your ribs. This is your belly. I'm gonna do a lot of this in grind. We're gonna do a lot of lamb burgers and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do now is cut these ribs off to where I can have lamb ribs. Then we're gonna cut the belly off, and then we'll come through and we'll start cutting chops out of here. But I'll get everything set up. We'll start cutting and show you everything. What I did was come back to the last rib right here and cut through to the spine, and then I'm going to come and just cut the spine. Then I'm just going to follow along the ribs with this belly and take it out. And also, if it looks kind of gross, me setting it on this table, I've got 6 mil poly down over the top of the table, clean, brand new 6 mil poly. So I've got a clean surface that I'm working with. And if I need to do a new surface, something like that, all I gotta do is roll out more 6 mil poly. I've got a fresh, clean surface. That's how we do all our butchering stuff, is do it that way, and we don't have to worry about disinfecting anything on our work surfaces except for our cutting boards. We always disinfect those. Disinfect our knives and all our equipment. I'm using, this is a 6-inch boning knife. This is actually from VacMaster. They're super nice knives. I like them honestly better than the Victorinox. The only thing is, I wish they had a little bit more flex to them. But all in all, they're an awesome knife. Darren and Chris used these at the festival. Darren was like, I love them. The handle has got a lot more grip on it, and I've got an affiliate link for it. I'll put a link in the description of the video, and if you use the code homestead, you'll get 15% off anything that you order from VacMaster with that. But what I'm going to do, go ahead and cut this belly off. We'll throw it all into grind. That'll go all into our grind. There's a lot of stuff right here. You can see that's still part of your chops. We'll come through in a minute and cut those. Clean it up just a little bit. But as you can see, there's your spine, and that's almost like a T-bone. Darren had taken out the tenderloin, so you're technically not going to have on a beef like you would have a porterhouse. But there's your loin right there. So we'll come through on these and cut these and have nice little lamb chops here in just a few minutes. Now what I'm gonna do is come through and take all my ribs off. I'm just drawing a small little line to where I can see where I want to cut out with the saw. So we'll be back and do that in just a second. All right, what I've got, I came through and made 2 cuts on this. I took, right here is your chops and your loin running right in there. I cut the bones loose. There is a rack of ribs. There's not a huge amount of meat on there, but hey, it'll all eat. And what I did was cut essentially part of the ribs off, and that's your sternum right in there. So I cut it off. I'll pull the meat off this and use it all for grind. So now the ribs are done. I'm gonna stick these in the cooler with the other set of ribs, and then we'll get set up to start cutting some chops. All right, what I've got, you can see, here's your spine right in here. This is where the tenderloin would have been. We've already taken it out, but this is your loin right here. You can see on the other side too, that's your loin. Here is essentially your spine and your chine bone here. So what I'm gonna do is come through with my knife and cut however thick I want. And then it's so much easier to use a cleaver and a mallet to cut through the spine than it is to try to cut it with a bone saw, because this thing flops around so much, it's just a royal pain. I can do it so much faster this way. So what I'm gonna do is come in on these chops, cut the thickness I want. I'm cutting right through the loin down to the bone, and then we'll come back through with the cleaver and finish those up. So you can see I've got it pre-cut. You can see I've pre-cut down to the bone, and now I'm going to do is set the cleaver in and hit it a few times, and it goes right through the bone. That's what you got, a nice pretty little lamb chop. I'm gonna do the same thing. I need to square this one. This one looks a little funky, but the thing is, it's your meat. We're not cutting for Kroger or Sam's. We're cutting for our personal taste. So if we want a thicker lamb chop, we got a thicker lamb chop, and anybody that comes over to the house is not gonna complain and be like, hey, this lamb chop is a little out of square, a little funky. It's gonna eat and taste the same. Nobody really cares. And honestly, if somebody comes to my house and they're that picky about it, I'm not going to invite them back. Either that or tell them to go to hell and never come back. So we've got these chops cut. We're going to start in on this. I will cut the neck off, then we'll debone the neck, and then come through and start cutting some chops off this. Okay, I've got the neck cut out, cut off. You can see there's your spine. Here are the rest of the chops. We're going to go ahead and cut those just the same way that we did the other stuff. And then I'm going to debone all the rest of the neck and put it in for our grind. So I'll start cutting everything up, and then I'll come back and we will start doing that. All right, I've got these jokers all cut. You can see I cut in between the ribs on these. There's one little hair left on it. But you can see I got this. So now what I'm gonna do is take my cleaver, we'll come through and just knock through the spine real quick. Nice pretty little lamb chop. When I get done doing this video, I'm probably going to throw a couple of these on the grill and see what they taste like. Let me get the rest of these cut. I'm going to debone this, and then we are pretty close. I've got one other little thing to debone, and then we're pretty close to going ahead and throwing stuff in the chamber sealer and sealing it up. All right, guys, all our chops and all our cuts are done. I've got my grind pile. I'll have to grab the grinder out here in just a little bit, but that's what I want to get the grinder out in just a few minutes and grind the rest of it. I'll have to weigh the grind. I don't know how much exactly we've got, but these are VacMaster's bags. They're a pre-made bag. This one is a 8 by 12. Here's some of the chops I cut yesterday. I left the bones long on those. I guess you could call them a tomahawk. But I'm probably gonna put 6 chops per bag. So I'm gonna go ahead and package these chops that I cut yesterday and then the chops that I cut just a few minutes ago. We'll package them up, 6 packs, 6 chops per bag is probably gonna be optimal for me and my family. So we'll get those packaged up and then we'll run over to the chamber sealer in just a minute. All right, we've got all our chops. All our chops, I did them in 6 packs. We've got them all ready to go, and we got them in the VacMaster bags. We're gonna use VacMaster's chamber sealer that I've got. I've also got the affiliate link for the knives that I've been using are all from VacMaster. There's an affiliate link. It's the same affiliate link if you want to buy a chamber sealer. Honestly, these things, they're pricey, but to be honest with you, I've been looking at one for a long time and I wanted to buy one, and I partnered up with VacMaster. I contacted them. It's like, hey, I'm looking at your machines. They sent me this machine out to try, and it has been a super time saver on stuff. I mean, it's so much faster than a food saver. It's so much, honestly, I think it's a little bit quieter, but it's faster. It gives a lot better seal. And with this machine, this is the VP320, so it's a bigger machine. It's commercial grade. I mean, this thing weighs 185 pounds, so it's not one that you're just gonna move around and be like, oh, I wanna pull it out from underneath the shelf and set it up and do it. We've built this specifically, built these cabinets, got the table specifically where it's almost at countertop height to where we can do a lot of production stuff. This little lamb, it only weighed 85 pounds live weight, so it's not in a production mode. As far as sealing stuff, it's not going to take any time. But if you're doing a pig or 2 pigs and you're dealing with, I mean, the pigs I've got right now are probably topping out at 400 pounds. So then you're looking 200-ish pounds of meat. Saving a few seconds each time really adds up when you're doing a lot of packages of this. But let me grab this. Here's a thing of lamb chops. And all you do with these sealers is set it in here and set it on the seal bar and close the door. Right now it's sucking down and putting a vacuum on it. And here in just a second it'll suck everything down and seal the bag. That was it. I've got this set, and some of you might say, well, that took a lot longer than a food saver. It might. I've got to redo the settings. We're sucking and creating a vacuum a little bit too much longer than needed, but that's what you get. You've got a double seal on your bag, and you can look and tell if the seal does right, the seal should be clear. This seal is perfectly clear, so the time is set and everything's ready to go. And the way we've got our setup done, all our stuff over here that's not been sealed yet is on the left-hand side. And as soon as we seal it, if I wasn't doing a video, as soon as this comes out, set it over there on your sealed side on the right hand. And then once we get enough on here, we'll just take it over to the cooler, my stand-up cooler, put it in there. And then once we've got enough, we take it down to the house and put everything in the freezer. Let's throw one more in here. There's another pack of chops. Slide it on there. And close the lid. This 320 model has a 16-inch wide bar, so you can essentially do 2 bags at once. These bags are 8 inches wide, so in theory I can do 2 bags at once. I know on the smaller packages, like you would do your ground beef or your sausage in, you can seal 2 of those at once, so that right there, that's double your production time on that. But I want to get all these sealed up. I've got some ribs to do also, and then I'm going to pull the grinder out and we're going to grind some lamb. All right, I've got right here, this is what some of our cuts right here. I've still got a leg of lamb to seal in here, and then I've also got the grind to put in, like I said a minute ago. But I went ahead in no time. I've sealed up 6 packages of lamb chops, a thing of lamb ribs, and that's what you're left with. Even with the bone and everything, these bags are super stiff, super nice. I mean, it gave a great seal. You can see that, your double seal. So I'm gonna shut down for a minute, grab the grinder, get the grinder out and start doing some ground lamb. All right, guys, we've got, I went ahead, I didn't video grinding it. I mean, using the grinder is pretty self-explanatory. I've got a Cabela's Carnivore, one of their commercial line series, and it makes quick work. But here, there's one of the lamb burger packages. I didn't measure these and weigh them. I might weigh them later. But we wound up with 4 packages of lamb burger, sealed it with the VacMaster 320, and literally, I mean, it just boom, boom, boom. It's amazing how fast this thing seals and how much more production you can do with it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.